Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at the PulseCon exclusive Kang the Conqueror, which was in stock, was not a pre-order. Unlike the G.I. Joe release, Starduster, which I think is coming in November maybe. Kang was in stock, ready to ship. Actually got here just a couple days after I ordered it, but not in enough time for me to review last week. You may have noticed last week only one review went up, which I think is the first time I haven't had content Monday through Thursday in like 5 years. But there's so much stuff coming out between now and the end of the year, I wasn't willing to buy something just to buy stuff, just to have a review. So just had a light week last week, but I think that'll be the last one for quite some time going forward. Because I have got already a pile. If some of this stuff had just shipped a little sooner, would have filled those gaps. Anyway, let's take a look at Kang. Beautiful box art. I'm just always a sucker for when they do the gloss on the feature, and then the background is kind of has that dull look to it, or that matte look to it. Great art, brand new art. I wish I could remember the artist and give them credit, but I'm sure you can Google it in about 2.5 seconds and find out. Side of the box looks nice. Back of the box got some feature stuff showing how the figure works. But oh, here we go. We got a little bio too. Kang the Conqueror travels throughout time, altering timelines and threatening reality on a journey to become ruler of the universe. So there you go. Let's open him up. So I am not. My comic book fandom is Spider-Man, Batman, X-Men, like from when I was a little kid. Now, don't get me wrong, over the years, I've read tons and tons of other stuff. I've been, partially because of the MCU, partially because I got really big into Marvel's Ultimate Universe. I've gone back and read some classic stuff, but the stuff that sticks with you the most is the stuff that you read when you were a kid. And I was never an Avengers guy when I was a kid. I couldn't have told you very much at all about the Avengers prior to Jon Favreau's Iron Man coming out, and that's the honest truth. I don't think I even watched the 90s Iron Man cartoon, just plain white backdrop, because why would it be anything else, because you can't see it. I collected the Iron Man figures in the 90s, like the Toy Biz ones, because I thought they looked really cool, and they had the vac metal and the armor and everything else. But I'm not an Avengers guy. But I do love the comic figures and Marvel Legends. And like I said, over the years, I've been exposed to Avengers and everything else in Marvel. But a Kang exclusive, it was not something I was necessarily interested in, but it looks like such a good toy. It's one of those things that's like, well, I can't pass this up because look at it. And also, I was really interested in the parallels between this toy and the DC Universe Classics Metron toy, which is currently hanging from my ceiling, so I will not be featuring in the review here, because there's not really, like, that's just kind of a personal thing for me. It's like, okay, so Mattel put out Metron with a chair, gosh, probably 10 years ago, maybe? And at the time, it seemed like such a cool, well, really, it's still a cool toy. It's still a cool toy. And actually, I just remembered I need to move it, because I moved my DC Universe. Gosh, I guess I should go get it just for a look, huh? All right, since I've got to move it anyway. Okay, so anyway, I moved all of my DC Universe Classics into a different room a few months ago, which actually worked out really, really well. You know, sometimes it's tough to move things because maybe you're putting them in a spot that's not as critical, or because with that collection, it's over. It's done. There are no more new ones coming out. So the amount of space that that collection is taking up is done. Like, they can fit wherever they can fit, and I'll never have to make more room ever again. So they had to move out of some prime real estate. But it ended up, the end result was I cleaned up the secondary toy room. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Secondary toy room, it's a thing. And it is in, well, for a while it was in much better shape. Now some stuff is being stored in there from a game show that we do. But anyway, end result is moving stuff around gave me a lot more space for other stuff. Gosh, you know, I just realized I need to get the other Kang too. I'm a mess. This is what happens when I take a week off from reviewing, which I believe, thanks to Dragon Con and having to do some reviews in advance, I had a little significant time off before my last batch of reviews too. You can't get rusty at this stuff, guys. All right, let me go grab the other Kang so we can do a little side by side. Whew, maybe we can get through this thing without any more stops. So just real quick, I'm a little disappointed at how the same they are. Obviously, there's a different portrait, which we'll get to that in a minute. The purples are more vibrant, like slightly more vibrant on the new exclusive one, but I mean, it's all just the same. It's the same figure, mostly. Like, you'd never know from looking at them side by side. There's a little more gloss on this detail on the new one, which means this padding around his neck stands out a little bit better. But at the end of the day, if you've already got this regular retail release, you really don't need this one, unless you're interested in some of the extra stuff. I mean, obviously the chair is the selling point of this thing, but then there are some other features that we'll get to in a minute with this guy. First, I'm going to put the chair together. Oh man, did I throw out the instructions? Mistaking them for the legal paperwork? Whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll get this done. Okay, so we've got our seat cushion, which, by the way, I appreciate that the seat cushion is a little softer. I mean, it's not flexible or anything, but it is a little softer plastic. It has the look of a cushion. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's going to slide right in there. The lower portion does not go in until you assemble the chair. That's going to go in the front. That's going to go there. Okay. I believe we are good to put that together. Okay, and there's no snapping. So the design here is that this cushion holds those two pieces together, so it's not necessary for anything to snap into place. And then we've got our... Oh, man, this is so cool. So this goes here. Oh, wait a minute. I think... so that cap just helps, again, hold these two halves together. And then this is going to go here. I do find it a little odd. And again, no snapping. It just slides into place. So friction's just going to hold that in, which I'm okay with, because maybe you want to disassemble this thing at some point. I do find this kind of empty slot right here. Oh, you know what? That's not an empty slot. Ha-ha. That is where that goes, I believe. Oh, maybe not. Oh, okay, wait. See? Good thing. Good thing it's designed the way that it is. Alright, so this is going to go like that. There we go. Ah, look. Great. That is a winner right there. What a killer piece. Oh yeah, let's put the seat cushion back in. Otherwise that thing's not going to be very comfortable to fly around time and space in. Alright. A little more stylish than a TARDIS, but not as practical. I don't know where Kang keeps his stuff. And you've got your base, nice clear plastic. I love the, since Hasbro started introducing flight stands and bases and things like this for when they were necessary, they do use a really nice translucent plastic for them. I don't want environments. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want this to be like marble or something. Make it clear. That way you put it on whatever you want to put it on, and you're good to go. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to hang this from the ceiling just like I did with Metron. So I'm probably going to use the stand anyway. But I appreciate what Hasbro is going for with these stands. Gosh, look at this piece. That's just really cool. That translucent... you know, I got one of my favorite things from Star Wars Black Series was that throne that they did for Snoke that had the nice clear floor that came with it. I just thought it looked so good. And now this is like just another small piece like that. That's just visually very striking, very cool, a little bit different from anything else you've got in your collection. Like I said, this is the selling point. This is a very cool piece. It stands out. You know, I recommend you hang this from your ceiling if you can, because if you just stick it on a shelf, well, then it's just on a shelf, and what are you doing? Like, and maybe that's your only option, and that's fine. We all have to do the best we can. But if you can hang this thing up, hang it up, because it's going to look cool. All right, so there you go. Nice, proportionally, you can tell. It's a big chunk of plastic, which of course presents other problems in collecting, but there you go. Well, and that's another thing about hanging it from the ceiling. Then it's not taking up this much shelf space, because look, it's deep. This is a deep piece. All right, let's set that aside. And Kang himself, like I said, very, very similar to that retail release, but with lots of different options. I'm not really going to bother going through the articulation too much. I mean, my gosh, if you don't know Marvel Legends articulation at this point, what planet have you been on? I do really appreciate what they did with the waist on this one. I love it when they can conceal a really good waist joint under a nice wide belt. Really, this is a great figure. I'm pretty sure I didn't review the regular release, because I just don't review a lot of regular Marvel Legends, because they're so... I don't know, just not as interesting to me for the most part. But this is a very, very well done figure. Well designed, like the shoulders, the fact that the sleeves, the shirt goes down the way that it does, and yet it still looks cool and has all the functionality you want. This is a great figure. I don't want to downplay that at all. And if you so desire, let's see. Oh, no, there's just a different gloss. Well, but you can get away with that for a helmet, right? So if you wanted to pop this head on this one, which I don't know why you would. Well, if you prefer the very slightly more subdued purple, you could. Anyway, there we go. So here's the question I've got now, though, because we have, again, two different portraits here. And it's actually a shame. I wish this portrait was on this one, because I don't really need a placid, serene Kang. I like him to be Kangry. But then we also have this, and look, tell me in the comments, because I'm not a Kang guy. I don't know where this comes from, but it looks really cool. I dig it. I'm not going to use it. Unless if you do jump in the comments and tell me what that is, and there's some awesome story behind it, maybe I will use it. I don't know. But that just pops out very easily. Friction holds it in, and it does stay in nicely. Good engineering there. And then we've got this Saurian face, this reptilian. That is, you know, I know they did the thing with all of the different Kangs, which I will have to assume is a thing in the comics as well. So maybe that's what this deal is. This one looks great. I dig it. Again, that just pops out. Pop our blue face right back in. Angry blue face. All right. And then we've got some accessories to look at. Got some swappable hands. I've got a couple of gesturing hands. And then, of course, just a left-handed trigger finger. Is Kang a lefty? Is that canon? I don't know. But I'll tell you what is canon. This is canon. Ha! See what I did there? I've got a port in the front for blast effect. Some nice paint going on here. If this is a specific weapon with a name, again, tell me in those comments. I'm always curious to see that stuff, but not curious enough to Google it. But I'll get an alert if you comment, so then I'll know. It's got a nice heft to it. It is solid plastic. It's not bent up at all. Man, this feels great. Hasbro, why can't you make every accessory out of this exact plastic right here? This feels great. It's sturdy. It has a little flex, so it's not brittle, but it is not going to get bent out of shape either. This is the perfect plastic, Hasbro. Use this for all of it. Yeah, interesting that... Yeah, just that left hand. And then he's got a little blaster with that same sort of pink, either power source or whatever that is. Cool little piece. And then the blast effect, which is what leads me to believe this is a very specific weapon, because that is a very specific looking blast effect. So, alright, let's get him... I'm going to put his more casual hands, although to call these casual is a little bit of a stretch, but I want him sort of reclining on this. Ooh, now here's going to be a difference, is that with his... No, that's pretty flexible too. I was wondering if that skirt piece might have been made more flexible for this release, since he has to sit in the chair. Okay, I don't have any doubts. So, wow, it is a little bit of a not a challenge, but he doesn't. Oh, let's zoom back out here. I can't say he fits in there quite as nicely as I would want him to. Just because of that skirt piece, he can't just sit. You have to do kind of a lean, because his legs can't go all the way forward. So he has bad posture if you're going to put him in the chair like that. So that's Kang in his chair. Now we're not talking about the figures here, we're talking about the chairs. Obviously this Metron is kind of a disappointing figure, because it's just all, I mean, he's got a new head sculpt, but he's just all paint on a regular buck. So that disappointed me even back in the day, even though I was used to that. But still, nice to see a couple of chair bros just hanging out. But you know what? I think we might have forgotten somebody. How could we possibly leave out Kang the Conqueror and his little chair? Maybe not quite as powerful as the other two guys, pieces of technology, but we can't leave Kang out of the equation. I would have felt terrible there. So, there you go. Let's get these guys out of the way. Metron, Kang, go back to your respective shelves. Kang the Conqueror with his chair, pretty awesome. I would have liked to see sort of a solution for this situation. But if you want to stand him up, you can stand him up. It will be a little bit of a challenge, though, if you're just going to stand him on the front portion here, which is one of the display suggestions. That's going to take some some balance, because this thing's got a little wobble, which I kind of appreciate. It's almost like a hover effect. But at the same time, if you put him on the shelf on this, that's hard enough to get a Marvel Legends figure to stand up for some reason. Because this drives me nuts. I'm going to mention it right here. The ratcheting is never situated properly. It's always just like a millimeter off of where it should be for them to stand easily. All right, well, there you go. So, yeah, you're taking a risk. Oh, look at that. He's hanging out pretty well. Maybe I was wrong. Look at the best balanced figure in the history of Marvel Legends, Kang the Balanced Conqueror. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I cannot believe he's not falling over. Like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends about Needless Things and the weird things we do over here. And until next time, buy what you like. That's wild. Hang on. One more. There he goes.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.